Alright, so today we're doing another one of my favorite videos to do, which is the stacked and blended, where we're going to take a couple of drives and then put them in series, put them in parallel, see how that changes our sound options with them. So today we're going to be taking a look at one of the classics, the MT2 by Boss, the Metal Zone pedal. You love it, you hate it, you're curious about it, and want to talk about it online. And then this pedal, which is the Wampler Phenom distortion. So this one came out at the same time as a different one, I think the Triumph Overdrive. And it seems like the Triumph has been the one that is more popular. I think this one is even on sale occasionally, which it was at $100 to begin with, and anything... Honestly, that is a great deal, so anything under $100 is great, and you can usually get the Metal Zone, depending on if it's used or new, at about the same price range. Wazacraft is going to be a little bit more than that one, but let's give it a try here. The amp that I'm using is the Interstate Z. It's nothing too crazy. Here's the amp. Got a little bit of drive on it. And I'm using my Jackson Randy Rhoads guitar. Sorry if my nose is stopped up a little bit. I was kind of sick for a few days last week. So that's kind of the raw sound that I have. Excuse me. Might have to sneeze here. If I do, I'll let you know. Anyway, let's see. I have a compressor at the front and a noise gate at the back. I might use those occasionally, but both of these I don't think I'm really going to need the compressor on. The Metal Zone is set to this switch right here, the effects loop left. I'm using this weird splitter cable to go to these two pedals and then return on their own effects loops. So the left is the Metal Zone. Nothing real exciting going on with the EQ, pretty much everything at noon. So I like the Metal Zone and featuring it a lot. Let's take a look at the Phenom, which is kind of more amp-in-a-box based kind of thing, more 5150-like. But it's not the type of amp-in-a-box that you can just run into a cab sim or even direct into a PA and it really sound good. I think it really does its best when it's running into the front of a real amp, so, or you know, a digital representation of it. Anyway, so let's go ahead and turn that on. So really taking that classic kind of Marshall-y, high-watt-y kind of sound and treating it in a way that makes it have that kind of 5150 sound. I've got it on the bright setting. Pretty much everything is at noon. Makes harmonics okay on its own. If I turn up the gain, obviously I'm going to get a bit more of that. Let's see, the Metal Zone though typically does okay with the harmonics. Even better if you crank up the gain on it there. So let's go ahead and stack these two together. So right now I've got the Metal Zone. It's going to be going into the Phenom. Pretty nasty tone, and here we got some noise that's kind of going on, so I can turn on the hard gate and that goes away. You still get those harmonics, but Don't know that's my favorite sound for him. I like him to be a little bit cleaner than that. Still screaming, but still maybe not as compressed sounding as that. So that's kind of a cool tone, almost kind of ranging on like an HM2 style sound, more of that like Swedish death metal kind of crunch. And I'm sure if I crank the knobs on these, of course, it's going to push it into this. So it's kind of hitting a wall with this, but it might push the tone a little bit more. Let's see. Getting a lot more harmonics out of it, but it's a lot noisier. A little wolfy with that. So, yeah. Obviously, we're pushing the gate pretty hard with doing that. So, yeah, I could push this stuff too. Let's see. There we go. All right, the response on both of these is pretty good. I feel like it's much more natural on the Phenom, but this one can really do a lot of different sounds and everything. Let's go ahead and flip the order of these. So I'm going to now put the Phenom first, and then the Metal Zone's coming next. So it's not like we busted through the gate with that. Definitely a different character to the sound. Let's hear that again. I'm going to flip it. So this is the Phenom on the left. Phenom on the right. On the left. On the right. A little bit more natural on the right. A little bit more processed on the left. So that's kind of interesting, and I don't know that how I feel about one being, oh, this is the better option than the other one, but they're just different, different styles. This one with a more digital sound might be better for going for like a kind of an industrial type of sound or something like that. And typically the Metal Zone is known for going after an amp before the cab sims, whereas I think this one really finds its best place before the amp rather than in the effects loop. So let's maybe try to simulate that. One of the things I like about using the HX Stomp rather than the simplifier like I have in the past is that I don't have to actually manually do the rerouting, and you can see what I'm doing here in front of you. So I'm going to put this one back here just to double check. So that shows me the Metal Zone is on the left, and that's the one that's on. So let's do this. I'm going to put the Phenom in front, and let's start by doing this. I'm going to take the Metal Zone and put it on a B path, and I'm going to have it come back before the amp, and then I'm going to have it do this. So it's like these two are on an even split, A-B split, with the Phenom on A, the Metal Zone on path B. They're both coming back before the hard gate, before the amp, before the speakers right now. So dry signal, that would be Phenom and dry signal. Speak Metal Zone and dry signal. This is both on a path A and B. So you see, they both kind of cover their own interesting range there. I feel like each of these is usable on their own, stacked in either order and also blended in this way too. Let's do something else kind of interesting I want to try too. Let's take the mixer for this one, and I'm going to have it come back after the amp. So basically, the metal zone is going to bypass the amp altogether, where the phenom is still going to hit the amp, and then they're going to kind of combine the signal back together before the cab sound. There we go. So I don't know. That's like dry signal going to the amp, and then the metal zone. Kind of a usable sound there. What I would probably do, though, rather than have it be a 50-50 blend, is use this split A-B to kind of balance that. See what happens. See, I can go like all A, all B, or kind of balance it. And then what you do is you control that with the snapshot mode. So that one back on. That's kind of a cool sound too, to have just the direct signal bypassing the amp and then kind of mixing back in. And here's what it would sound like if it was bypassing, if the metal zone was going around the cabinet too. We want the cabinet treatment. It's going to sound a little too digital without that. So that's why we want this right there. It's going to help control the sound a little bit more. Again, out here, just not great. You know, there's a lot of bands, especially stuff that was coming around back in the 90s and stuff, where people were doing recording themselves and doing stuff, and they would plug pedals directly into mixing boards and get sounds like this. So if that's the sound you're going for, that you're nostalgic for, this is a way that you could recreate it. But if you're wanting something that is more natural, controllable, something that's friendlier to mix and work with, then these might be some of the techniques you'll want to consider with that. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up for right now. Yeah, these pedals are great. I've done a few videos with each of them, more with the metal zone than with the phenom, but I feel like these both are definitely from like two different eras. You know, this is kind of classical, this is new. Pedal builder, you know, I wouldn't say boutique, it's almost like budget boutique, but it's a really cool sound, and I feel like these two are working really well together, better than a lot of other combinations, at least as far as being able to stack, blend your different tone options. Obviously, if you're running it with a normal amp, you're kind of locked into stuff, but with something like a HX Stomp here, you know, you have a lot of different options that you could set into different presets. So yeah, having a fun time with it. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I will be making more of these again here soon. Thank you very much.